in the world. Okay, think of that. You are one of the top 5 accountants in the world. Countries and governments are calling upon you. Large corporations are calling your name, are hiring you to help them with their numbers. That's a good dream, right? If you achieve that, how many other young women would want to also become the same if they see her making that happen? You can achieve that goal if they see that she's made it happen. Many, right? That's a valid big dream. Who else has a big dream in this room? A crazy, hairy dream. To be the President of the United States of America. Now, I want us to take him seriously, right? Because he was serious when he was saying it, right? Okay, if he's a comedian, right, we will also know, right? But if he's serious, we'll know. What are the requirements to be the President of the United States of America? To be an American citizen. What else? To be there, to be living there for a certain period of time. To be presented by a political party in the U.S., right? Okay, which of those criteria do you meet? No. I asked you again. Which of those criteria do you meet? Yes, the essential criteria of being president. If I said I wanted to be president of the Gambia, right? What would you say? I'm not a Gambian citizen by birth, right? I don't live in the Gambia. Like, there's an election coming up, right? And I said, I want to be the president of the Gambia. What would you say? Okay. No, if you take me seriously, what would you tell me? What advice would you give me? Okay, but I can't be a citizen by birth. I can acquire citizenship by birth through the means. But in the Constitution, it's written citizenship by birth. I can't change that, right? So my crazy dream has to be what? Huh? Not a reality. Huh? If I join a political party, and for example, that's why I did not discard what you said, right? Because you either aspire to be someone at that level, or you aspire to be a great comedian, right? So if you can become someone who can influence the U.S. politics to change the Constitution, if that's what you want to do, no problem. But your dream has to be aligned with your own internal vision, right? You can't just make up a dream and say, okay, because I have a dream, it should be a reality. A relationship with God. Let's go to the next one. Dreams. Now this is a funny one, right? And I think one of the most important questions I'll ask you all before the end of this talk. What will you be remembered for in 2124? Write it down on your phone or on a piece of paper. How old will you be in 2124? Right? Who wants to play that game? Right? I'll come back to you. Someone else. Someone else at the back over there? You? Okay, yes, tell us. 2124, how old will you be? Okay, so in 2124, please play with me this, huh? Fine. 2124, he will be 129 years old. Okay? Most of you will be about the same age, right? Right? So let's be realistic, okay? 129 years old. How are you physically? Physically, how are you at 129? You're very old if you're alive, right? You're very, very old or you're very old? So you'd be mostly laying down and people taking care of you, right? So you wouldn't have your faculties, you wouldn't have your physical abilities. What will you have at 129 years old? Each of you here, what will you have? What will you have? At 129, each of you here, what will you have? The impact you've left. What else? Your legacy. What else? Your name, right? Your name, your family, right? That's what you'll have at 129, each of you, all right? Because physically you won't be able to do anything. Now I want you to think about that name and that legacy that you will have left for the Gambia, for yourself, for your family, the children you're going to have, the grandchildren you're going to have, the great-grandchildren you're going to have. How will we remember you? Okay, so we're going to do it with him and then 2 other people, and then we can move on, all right? Because when you're creating a vision for yourself, you want to start with the furthest vision, right? The farthest vision you can think of, and then you start coming backwards. So you want to start with a vision of 100 years. That's your legacy. You want to go to 50 years. 50 years, you're about 79 or so, right? You're old, but you can still do certain things. 30 years, you're in your 59, you're still active, most of you. 10 years, you are actually in the working world, right? And you want to make sure that this legacy of 100 years is aligned with what you'll be doing next year. So each of you here is thinking about, oh, maybe this is my last year in university, or I have 2 more years. What you'll be doing after should be aligned with where you want to be 100 years from now. That's how you make the best decision in life, right? A lot of people, when they make decisions in the short term. They just think about now, yesterday, and the problems they have. No, you project yourself in the farthest. You see the end first, have the end in mind, and then you walk backwards to today. So tell us, Mr. President, at 129, what will we remember you for? And we'll keep you accountable to that.
At 129 years, I will want to be remembered as one of the most successful Secretary Generals of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies.
Secretary General, Red Cross International. Okay, what else?
And as somebody who have passed through the national societies, especially the Gambia Red Cross Society, I would want to be remembered for the impacts of transforming the humanitarian work in the country.
Okay. And then you're going to go and be more specific, right? So when you go do this on your own, you want to write down specifically how you will be remembered in the humanitarian transformation that you have made. One more thing. At 129, what will your family remember you for?
My family will remember me for being the guy for the people when they are in need, especially the one that will take care of the grannies and the young children, ensuring that they are excited and happy.
Okay. So he will be that old happy grandfather that all the kids are happy to see because they know he's cool, right? He's not always talking about disease and death like some of the other grandfathers. He's the one who's always excited and alive. All right, thank you. Someone else? Yes. Yes. Okay. How will we remember you?
Well, generally it's going to be basically what I've started recently.
129.
Yes.
Let's stay there.
Yes. So before 129, I've already started.
No, we go to 100.
Okay, directly. By then, I already have my established business.
Okay.
and that is going to be very global.
Okay.
Not just the Gambia.
So a global business.
A global business, but it's not just a global business, but also a humanitarian organization as well.
Okay.
Because
That is doing what
yes,
specifically?
we give out help to the needy.
Okay.
Most importantly, we give out water. Okay. That is, we dug boreholes for communities,
Okay.
which have already started part of the process as well. And I think recently we've given more than 30. Yes.
100
So by 100 and by
At
129, I would have say I've dug more than 200 boreholes in the entire Gambia
Okay.
for the people.
Okay.
And that is one thing my family would remember me of,
Okay.
and the entire Gambian people.
Okay. So Gambia will remember you as the guy who brought water to a lot of the
Electricity as well.
and electricity as well.
Yes.
Okay. Great. What's your name?
My name is Hussein.
Sue?
Hussein.
Hussein. Okay.
Yes.
What will your friends remember? What will they remember you for in 10 years?
Well, generally to be a very successful entrepreneur, like I say, the global business is something that
But
by
that
then-
may not be so important to them, right? Like your personal success
Yeah.
doesn't have any real value for them unless it's okay. I studied with that guy, but what will this university remember you for?
you think, how are they going to be impacted, or what they will remember?
What will they remember you for? Because we remember people by how they made us feel, right? Not what they did for us, because someone else can do better, right? How did I touch them? How were they touched by my presence?
That is to include them as part of, because it's always something that I've always imagined. This institution has been one institution that I've always wanted to make sure that I put my hands towards it to develop.
10 years in the
So in
future.
10 years' time, I am hoping to see at least 20% of these people within this institution to be working with me as well to make sure that they achieve that.
Excellent. So we're going to keep you accountable.
Inshallah.
To you, less than 1% of the human population actually do this exercise. Less than 1%. So imagine if you are within that 1% that spends time thinking about the future, planning the future. What will be your competitive edge compared to other people? It will be a big gap, isn't it? So most of what you should be doing is looking in the future, staying in the future, planning the future, detailing the future, then coming back to the present and say, okay, what can I do today, right, to start including people in the university in my projects? Can we develop an initiative within the university where we create a borehole for communities? If we're already doing it, how can we get every class to create a borehole in their village? How can we make it a project within our university and other universities to take it up? Because you don't know if you're going to live for the next 10 years. I could die today. I could leave here, get in my car, as I'm heading, a truck comes in, whoosh, Chico is gone. What will I be remembered for? Is that even the day I died, what was I doing? I was living my purpose. I was building the next generation of leaders so that they can do what? They can build the people who are going to come after them. You understand? That's what it means to live a purposeful life. It's not just about talking about it. It's about living it on a day-to-day basis. And when you're living like that, I guarantee you, there is no obstacle in life that you cannot overcome. All right? One last one. Yes. Tell us, in 100 years, how will we remember? There is.
Yes.
But what is missing? You said you'll be the first one to hold.
Host an international
Okay, Miss Global Health in the Gambia.
in the Gambia.
So people remember you how for that?
by empowering youths. So the youths that I empower to join the competition and be able to synthesize and advocate about their platforms on health issues affecting people in the Gambia.
Okay.
This is something they can remember me for, because I will obviously teach them and make them have projects that they have to work on concerning health issues.
So you're going to put the Gambia on the map,
Yes.
right? You'll be remembered as one of those people who has taken the Gambia and made it a global figure. Okay, what else? How will your family remember you?
They will remember me for being a very hardworking person, inspiring my fellow youth, and always helping people And yeah.
You know, let me tell you something about our families, huh? Our families are some of the most selfish people that exist. Am I wrong? They don't care about you helping people. What do they care about? Themselves. So how will your family remember you?
The money I made.
The money you made. And what? How they spoilt your money?
Yes, and how I've changed their life and the life of their grandchildren and their daughters as well.
So
My
you
stepsister.
will have changed the financial situation of the family
Yes.
without them spoiling you too, right?
Yes.
Because that would be painful.
Yes.
For you to be sitting in your bed and you can't afford even medication because your children have spoiled all your money, that would be difficult, right?
Yes.
So you have to be specific. When you put in the money and you say, okay, I want to leave. So some people say, okay, I want to make so much money and I want to leave so much money to my children. Add that I want to leave them money that they can manage. So I want to build in them the skills and responsibilities, allowing for them to manage my wealth when I'm gone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So every exercise, right? Okay, you can take a picture of it. You go 100 years, you write it down. You come back 50 years, you write it down. You come back 30 years, write it down. 15 years, 5 years, and then the next 1 year. Okay? But now, I want to move to the next one. Now, what I want you to do this time is to go back in the past. I want you to go back 10 years ago. Okay? And I'm just going to give you my example as a story. 10 years ago, I was on my farm, right? And behind me, you see this structure. It took me 2 years to just build this. I built it the first time. We were cutting some of these palm trees to clear the place. The palm trees fell inside the structure. And at the time when I was doing it, I was telling people this will be Guinea's first agro-tourism retreat. Look at him again. We don't know what he's smoking. Look at him. He says Guinea's first agro-tourism. Guinea doesn't have tourism. He doesn't have the money. How is he going to be able to do it? But I believe that one day this place was going to be a tourism site. So I hustled. We cut some bamboo trees, some wood. We made our hut and our little space for a restaurant. And when we finished building the first hut, as I was clearing this thing, the thing just went and fell inside, destroyed it. I said, okay, let's cut those palm trees, make them into benches, we put them around, we rebuild again. At this time, I was not known across the world. I was simply sitting there in my village. This was 12 years ago. Sitting there in my village, working from the village with people who would come to the farm. So I was known within the agricultural sector, but I was not known as a world-class speaker. But that was my dream. My dream from this farm was that one day I would be one of the greatest speakers on the face of the earth. And I used to come here exactly in this spot at 3 a.m. at night. I would sit down there, look at the skies, and dream that one day I would be standing in front of a podium speaking to thousands of people. That I would be on the cover of magazines. And I remember I was interviewed for a radio show. The guy told me, "Oh, you're just a dreamer." I said, yeah. The difference between you and me is you dream when you're asleep. That's why you never make your dreams a reality. Me, I dream my eyes open. And then I wake up and go again and go to make it happen. That year, after we made this site, and we joined a group of Americans, we launched the Dare to Innovate movement. We launched the first social entrepreneurship movement in Guinea. We started training young people in entrepreneurship across the country. We would invite them now to my farm. This farm that I was telling people was going to be a touristic site, I transformed the old buildings into rooms, got funding from donors to be able to put bunk beds, got now students to come for the first conference on the farm. We got the U.S. ambassador to come, we got other industrials in Guinea to come. And they came now to see from what? From a dream. A dream that I had before, that this would be an agro-tourism. But even though I was going through this dream, I myself was dealing with addictions and self-doubt. I was always in my head. I used to sleep on the floor. Because I was like, is this gonna work? Yes, it's gonna work. No, Chico, it's not gonna work. Yes, it will work. It's not good. Chico, shut up! It's gonna work! That's just me and myself. It's me talking to myself. Everyone else is saying it's not gonna work. Me, I'm convincing myself it's gonna work. It was difficult. But it worked. And right after that, 10 years ago, I got selected for the Mandela Washington Yali Fellowship. 50,000 people. Do you remember? You? You do? Right? You do, right? Keep it. But what were you going through 10 years ago? What was your worst nightmare 10 years ago? What was the worst failure you had 10 years ago? Because you must have been, what, 19, right? 10 years ago. Right? What was the worst thing that was going in your life at 19? Do you remember? Maybe it was a heartbreak, right? You know, that heartbreak, you know how that heartbreak comes and your heart is so broken, you're like, I'm gonna die. This is the end, I can't live anymore. And 10 years later, you're still alive. Am I wrong? It's true, right? Am I wrong? It happens, right? Yeah. Or you had a disease. Huh? You went to the hospital, you felt sick, you had a disease 10 years ago, and you actually thought you were going to die. Do you remember that? Or, I don't know, an accident happened. Something happened to each and every one of us that made us doubt the future. But we're still here. Did we give up? Did you give up? So you should be proud of yourself. Those little things matter. You get what I'm saying? Those little dreams that you had 10 years ago that no one believed in, but that actually came true today, they matter. They matter. Why? Because they're all part of a stepping stone. And I'll tell you why. I leave here with the dream of becoming a great speaker. And I go to the US for the program, and I realize during the training and all and so I go to Kenya. I start my journey as a speaker, as a trainer, as a coach, and 5 years later, I'm having my second TEDx talk. Right now, in Africa, we're only 4 people who have had 3 TEDx talks. And I'm the only one Francophone African. The rest are Nigerian. TEDx is one of the most prestigious platforms to speak on. It's really for experts. As a speaker, it's an achievement. But beyond that, I've trained and coached some of the best young leaders across the continent. Because of a dream that I had here. And the thing I like to tell people is, I'm no different from you. I have the same brain. You have the same brain. You can do greater things than what you think you can do right now. But you have to do what? You have to dream big. You have to start dreaming bigger than whatever you're currently thinking. Whatever you currently want, you have to add another 0 to it. You have to want to change the world around you and start by changing yourself. And building yourself into that person who can transform the lives of other people. I wanted to inspire other people who, like me, were considered failures. People who had gone through a lot of hardships, had gone through a lot of difficulties, and other people were telling them that they couldn't. I said, I want them to hear my story of a young guy sitting in the village here trying to do something great, that no one believes in, but that by pushing consistently, inspiring yourself, inspiring others, you can make your dream a reality. 5 years, 3 years later, I'm speaking in front of 2,000 people in the conference center in Niger. The president of Niger at the time is in the back of the room. The former Governor General of Canada is in the room. All of these things happen because of what? Your dream. Understand? But at each of these times, I'm also dealing with difficulties. Either internal difficulties or external difficulties. So people will see you and say, oh, you're so amazing, you don't make it. But can they walk your shoes? Can I walk in your shoes? Honestly, I can't walk in your shoes. You're going through something right now that I may not be able to go through. And so you need to want to be the best version of yourself. Does that make sense? Yeah? Don't try to be like someone. Try to be like yourself at 129. Because that version of you at 129 transcends whatever you can imagine right now. So in order for us to be able to achieve that vision, go back 10 years ago. Write down your successes. Write down your failures and accept them. Embody them. I walk around with my past successes and my past failures because I know it's never going to end. Success and failure are just like it's a point, right? There's the flip side, the back side. It's the same thing. It's one same point. And so when I dream big, I also expect that there's going to be big challenges in order for me to achieve that dream. And so I need to build myself up, like what we're doing now, so that once I start going, when the challenges come, I can overcome them. And so, as we move forward, each of you needs to know that wherever you're headed, right, those failures are stepping stones. Learn from them. Pull them as your motivation. But those successes as well, if you've been able to overcome them before, for sure you're going to overcome them. And we've come to purpose. Why are you here? Change the lives of people and offer them water and electricity. Why are you here? To inspire the next generation of young women to believe that it's possible to lead global corporations. Why are you here? To be able to impact my country's healthcare system and put it on the global map. Why are you here? Each and every one of you. Why are you here on earth? Of all the countries in the world, why did God put you in the Gambia? It's because it's from the Gambia that you have that unique opportunity to be able to do something that's going to transform Africa. Do not underestimate your country. The Gambia is a great country. Never consider yourself a small people because you come from a small nation. What is a small nation? What is a small nation? There's no such thing as a small nation. Every nation should be proud of itself. Every individual should be proud of your family, proud of your ancestors, proud of your background. You should be proud of who you are, proud of your parents, proud of your grandparents, proud of your society. And so my reason of being here is to help you be the best version of yourself. Because that's the version that's going to make an impact in society. And the best version of yourself doesn't try to be like anybody else. The best version of yourself is not intimidated by anyone else. The best version of yourself doesn't try to compare to anyone else. The best version of yourself is content with being yourself. You're content with being yourself. My leadership is not one that I try to, emulate someone. And I tell everyone the same thing. You're here to be the best version of yourself. And when you're the best version of yourself, you know what happens? The best of other people comes towards you, right? Because if you show me a fake self, that's the one I fall in love with, right? If you meet someone and you show them a fake version of yourself, that's the version that they fall in love with. And when they fall in love with your fake version, they can never love you for who you truly are, right? And so we're all here to be the best of ourselves. And when you're the best of yourself, those who come to you are those who are supposed to be there. Those who don't, avoid them. That's why you never have to try to please anybody. Okay? But keep this in mind. Each of us, we have internal things and external things that are holding us back from being the best version of ourselves. I want you to take a snapshot of this picture. And I want you to ask yourself, what are the internal thoughts and beliefs and behaviors that I have that are holding me back from being the best version of myself? And what are the external limitations that are holding me back? Is it someone? Maybe you have a family member, a friend, a sibling, a partner who does not believe in you, who's always criticizing you, who always sees what you do wrong. But you want to prove them right. You want to prove them that you're good. So every time you have a new idea, who's the first person you call? Calling them. Stop sharing with them. It's common sense, right? You go to people who see you as the best of yourself. Anyone who sees the worst in you doesn't see the best in themselves. Think about it. You're trying to be the best CEO, the best leader, the best student. Someone is saying, you're wasting your time. That's a waste of energy. Why do you need to listen to it? Like, why do you need to allow that toxic energy in your ecosystem? So each of you here needs to learn to use one word more often. Who can guess what that word is? I can do it. That's 3 words. That's multiple words. It's one word. I. No, not I. It starts with an N.
Never.
Huh?
Never.
No? No?
No.
No? No? I'm saying it right now.
No.
No! Each of you here needs to start using that word more often. Right? Ask yourself, how often do you say no in a day? Huh? A lot? Yeah? Who doesn't say no as often? Let's be honest. Yeah? Who needs to say no more often? Good. Be honest with yourself. We need to learn to say no more often. We need to learn to say no to ourselves and no to the toxic people who are a boulder holding us back. You could be doing 10 times more than what you're doing right now, but there are 2 or 3 people in your life. And sometimes it could even be your parents. Can you imagine that? I've had people I've coached, their problem is their parent. And they're like, but what do I do? It's my mom. I'm like, but if your mom is a poison in your food, what do? Do you keep eating that food? What do? First of all, recognize that your mom is poisonous. Accept that. You didn't choose her. Oh, wait, you went to Serikunda and said, I want this woman as my mom. Or I want this man as my dad. Honestly, did you choose that? You didn't choose it, right? Brothers, no, it's my husband, or it's my wife, or it's my brother, or it's my sister. And I tell them often, I said, you know what? And this happens a lot to women. And it's good to tell you all, those of you who have not yet gotten married, or even those who are married, to keep this in mind. If you are a young woman with big, when you're low, she'll be high. And you should not be intimidated by her leadership. You should not be intimidated by your partner's leadership. And the truth that we don't tell each other in reality, because we say it's taboo, it's what. If you marry the wrong person, you go backwards like 80%. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yes.
Huh?
Unfortunately, many of us aren't married to the experience.
You're not married yet?
None of us.
Many are not yet married?
I said, unfortunately, the respondents many of them aren't married to give me the experience.
To give you the experience. Thank God they're not yet married. It's good to get this advice before. Right? When you associate with the wrong person, the wrong partner in life, because that's the most important decision in a person's life, who you marry. Because that's the voice you'll hear the most. You get? And unfortunately in our societies, what happens is the women are given away by the family, isn't it? Sometimes you don't have that choice. However, it's always good to know. It's always good to know. It's good to know that you are your partner's stepping stone. Your partner is your stepping stone. But in order to get a good partner, you yourself, you have to be what? You have to be a great partner. Because you only attract who you are, right? Huh? So when you go to the mosque this Friday, please, if you're not yet married, or even if you're married, just pray God to build leadership in yourself, right? So that you can attract what? Better people. Because if this boulder is your life partner, my God, it just grows every day. It gets bigger every day. You want your life partner to be jet fuel. You know what's jet fuel? Jet fuel is not petrol, right? Jet fuel is what they put in planes. It's more efficient, right? Because you are a fuel, you are a jet. Sorry, you are a jet. Every single one of you in this room, after this talk, you're never going to be the same. I guarantee you that. I can sign that. None of you will ever think the same. Ever again. So what do you want? You want to attract crazy-minded people like yourself who can say, hey, you're not doing enough, you can do better. And if you don't have that person, pray to get that person. Be that person. Transform the people around you to be greater than yourself. Okay? This is a long course, so I'm going to shorten it so we can have time for questions. But this is the last one I want to give you. Okay? And this is what's going to help you now, each of you, go out and fight. Because the world is a fight, huh? We agree, right? Life is jihad, isn't it? And each of us is a warrior in themselves. Say, I'm a warrior. In what else? How do you say that? Sama jambar or what? Something jambar, right? How do you say I'm a warrior? Jambarla. Okay, we say it together. 1, 2, 3. Jambarla. Come on. I know you sound. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Jambarla. Come on. Is it Gambian food to eat? Where is the oomph? 1, 2, 3. Jambarla. Good. Je suis un Jafar. Je suis un guerrier. That's it. Right. Who can say it in Benin?
That's not my language. No, that's not. No, that's wrong.
Jambu Jatores. Okay, in Java, or is it in Agu? What's the other language? In Sarakuli.